Well, first of all, we needed players, right? So
Yes.
we had to find players. And we used
Debbie.
to try to wave people down from
Yeah.
when we were down, because the glass, the track was up there. So anybody that looked at us and said, "What are these people doing?" I said, "Come on down, come on down."
Yeah. Well, I lived close to Pip Moyer, and my wife and I took classes when the building was first opened. The class was called Turn Back the Clock. I think it's still available. Because just looked at the courts there and said, geez, these people should be playing pickleball. They need to put out some courts and so on. So I started talking to people there about it. Nobody knew what it was. And introduced myself to Katie, and she had no idea what it was. And out of curiosity, I Googled Annapolis, Maryland, pickleball. And lo and behold, some kind of email way off some strange place in the internet with the name Josh, I always forget how to pronounce your last name.
Ellenbogen, Elbow in Germany.
Elbow, okay. And so I emailed him right away, and he was talking about the Pip Moyer Center would be perfect for this. So he'd already made his contact with Pip, and so I guess he'd made quite a bit of headway with Katie. I think maybe I helped soften her up for him. And I think by the time I got there, then she was already convinced to try it because the auxiliary gym was identified as the place to play. And I met Josh for the first time in the auxiliary gym to talk about what to do next.
So what this tells me is that I never asked any questions because I never even heard the story. Yes, you were the first one definitely to talk to her. You were introduced to the game before me, all right? So there's no doubt. I just remember all that negotiation. We were both in her office a few times, right? We both went up there to talk to her in her little athletic office in Pip, trying to convince her. So, yep, that's great.
I think Phyllis she was a critical person in that process because about that time, Josh, I think you started playing with your friends and were not coming as regularly as you were. And getting Phyllis on board seemed critical to me because every summer when I'd come back, I would get this snapshot. I had the snapshot in my mind of here's how the politics for Pip Moyer were when I left. Here's how they are when I get back. Things kept improving, at least in my estimation, year by year. I know there's always tension, but I think in general, Pip now regards pickleball as an important part of their program.
Okay, I became involved with the club the first month it got started. And a friend of mine, I was in an exercise class, and a friend of mine walked by, and she didn't come to exercise like usual. She went to the rec area, and I went, "What are you going?" She goes, "I'm going to play pickleball." And I went, "Whoa, what's that?" So she said, "You should come." So I went on over there, and I said, "Oh, wow, this looks like much more fun than exercise." The only thing I did was reach out. I put an ad in the paper to get members. And of course, one of our early members who loved being able to play all the time, he says, "What are you putting an ad in the paper for? We don't need any more new members. We've got 20 people. I said, "Well, I think we need more than that to get these schedules to work." That was my goal. Get more people, then you can have more schedules.
I saw the ad in the newspaper, the Capital, and I was athletic, and I played all the racket sports, paddleball, badminton, tennis, squash, and I had said, "What is this pickleball?" So I said, "I'm going." And I went. It was in November of 2015. I went and I started playing, and I said, "Oh, I like this." And it also became very addictive. We realized that we really needed to become more formal. And we had kind of known that, and we had discussed that many, 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 many times about creating a formal organization, getting nonprofit status. And it was in 2018 that we moved forward with that, and we created a committee to draft bylaws. And they drafted bylaws. We presented them to the membership. It was approved. And then leading into kind of 2019 is when we had we had an election in November of 2018, and then an official board was appointed in 2019. And let's say the rest is history.
So 2019 was an important year for our club. Our board quickly conferred on what we thought the priorities were in 2019, and we agreed that there were three main priorities. The first was having an external presence while automating our operations in the club. We were growing from 350 members close to 700, and we needed some positive evolution for our club. So we instituted a website to go ahead and enable our club to absorb its growth. The second thing that was important to our club was capacity. Capacity both indoors and outdoors. We were a growing club, we had more players, we needed more court space, we needed more court time. So capacity was key. And then the third, I'll lump a few things together, and that was we wanted to have quality play, we wanted to have competitive play where it made sense, and we wanted to grow the skills of our population for those who wanted to take part in that.
So in 2020, my most proud moment for the club and on behalf of the club is securing all the outdoor courts that we currently are enjoying. Developing the relationship with the county, being proactive, doing follow-up communications so that the county understands our needs for our 600 plus members, and they were flexible, and they're adapting, and they continue to adapt. Yeah, I think it's pretty significant that the Annapolis Pickleball Club 2020 board was able to maintain the club's memberships, keep them informed, keep them engaged, and then re-engage as we came out of that 3-month isolation period. The teamwork that we had and that we did as a board, I thought we did a pretty good job. I think we succeeded in what we needed to do on behalf of membership, and definitely proud of that. The other significant event of 2020, of course, was the COVID-19 pandemic. Such a big challenge of uncertainty and fearfulness and doubt that everyone experienced in the country, and our little microcosm of our 600 plus member club was no different. We all have family and loved ones and friends that we're concerned about. Going through that experience and then all of a sudden having it cut off, it was a bit of a shock for more than a few people. It is just a sport, but it's pickleball is such a connector, social connector for folks, whether they're in retirement or they're working or that they've got families, that we all shared in that grief for that 3-month period. And coming out of it, there was maybe some tentativeness for risk and health, but there was I had a strong sense there was a lot of joy once people came on the court, which was that was really nice to see.
At it. And all of a sudden, all four of us were all at the net, dinking back and forth. And that was the first time I ever experienced that. We won the point, and Josh looked back at me and said, "Gene, that's pickleball."
Yeah, and I said that over the years so many times.